Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful evening with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, Numerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. As you see, I have a very, very special guest. Well, yes, it's true. All my guests are special, but I would say for this brother, kind of like extra special since, as people say, we have a history that goes back several decades, to be honest with you. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me this evening. And let's see something here. Oops. Okay, let me do this. Okay. It's interesting when you have these long days, and a couple of things are coming up too. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. I am your host, Lloyd Strayhorn. We're going to have Brother Revels-Bey on just a moment, but I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by several people. One is King Simon, who's going to have an event on April the 13th with these beautiful people there, Mama Ella, Hank Risingson himself, and I forgot the other young lady. And the following day, this is on Saturday the 13th, and on Sunday the 14th, I'll be there with uh, Adora and Sharika Moore, who was on my show before. I'm going to have King Simon on, in fact, talking about that on April 10th, Wednesday, April 10th, leading up to the event. Whoops, nope. I want to let you know this show is also sponsored by Jazz Aphrodite. She is having a master class, a numerology master class, and she's giving it on her birthday, which is a Saturday, and that's from 11 to 3 p.m. So for those of you who would want to join the class, you see it right there. It's an early bird special. After that, it's going to cost you some more money. So you might as well keep some dollars in your pocket and get the knowledge. So you can sign up at Jazz Aphrodite or Cash App her at Venmo or $ Jazz Aphrodite. And finally, where we go? There we go. Manifest on Purpose with Miss Kimberly. She's available on YouTube. We are doing a session now for April forecast for all the zodiac signs, so that's going to be interesting. But before I bring my very distinguished longtime guest on, today is Monday, March the 25th, 2024. The sun is in Aries. It's a new moon lunar eclipse. Yes, there was a lunar eclipse that took place at about 3 a.m. this morning when it was at its height in the sign of Aries. It's the 11 universal month, 6 week, 9 universal day. Aries, Scorpio, Leos, or those born on the 9th to 18th or the 27th will be the beneficiaries of this day. And before I bring my guest on Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about our Mercury retrograde on the 1st and the solar eclipse that's taking place on the 8th of April. April is going to be a very interesting month, cosmically speaking. All right, so without further ado, let me get my buddy on. Revels-Bey, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastico.
Very, very good. It is amazing that we met on December the 7th of 1978, and it shows you how long our friendship goes back, man. And it's been just great, man. Always nice. And now you live in New Mexico, I believe,
Yeah,
right?
Albuquerque, New Mexico. I want to let everybody know Lloyd was as handsome as he is now. He was just as handsome at age 34, you guys, and I was 26. He's still spry.
I know people gonna be trying to do the math and stuff like that, but it's okay. It's
It's all
okay.
right.
Listen, in today's show, I put you down as numerologist extraordinaire, which is true. I put you down as author, which is true. Now you're on your seventh book. We're going to talk about that in a moment.
Hmm.
And I also called you the meditation guru
Oh, thank
because
you.
nobody seems to do meditation like you do. I mean, you're just immersed in it. And before we do the book and everything, let's
Hmm.
talk a little bit about meditation. I think meditation is more now with all the confusion, the tension, the mental challenges that people are going through, um, crisis and whatnot. what makes meditation so special? How'd you get so hooked in it that you just dedicated this long and in such
Yeah, I'm more dedicated long term than numerology
really?
because yes, I was a freshman in college at a place called Bard College, small private liberal arts college, and I wasn't comfortable there because I was getting a lot of agitation from the professors. I was an art major, and as a freshman, I was the only Asiatic, dark, melanated freshman art major, and everybody else came from wealthy families. I
Mhm.
mean, winter break, they go to Europe, Paris, the Louvre, and they come
Yeah, like
talk
going
all this,
around the block, right?
going around the block talking all this stuff. And little old me, I said, okay, I'm from Hempstead, but my late mother pulled the strings of the president of this college, which was an Episcopalian college, and she said, my son comes from good stock. And when she said the family name, that minister said, I know that name. I've seen that name in history books, which
Really?
Hiram Rhodes Revels from my
Mhm.
father's side of the family, one of
Mhm.
his distant relatives.
Mhm.
And he was the one during the Reconstruction era of 1870. He took over a congressman's position, and he did it for about a year. He was the guy that set up schools on the reservations and taught. He was also the first mathematician and theosophical teacher for Alcorn A&M University, and he was right in the mix. And so what had happened, I wasn't getting along with these professors. They was always pushing my buttons and trying to butter me up, like, oh, I'm not, we're not being racist. I said, yes you are, man, yes you are.
Like we don't know,
Like,
right?
we don't know.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
was this guy, there was a couple of people, and there was two brothers, and they were always on campus, but I would never see them in any classes. What classes are they going to? Because I never see them. And this guy, his name was Martin Searcy. That was his name. I just say in the book Martin S. But he noticed these people were getting me ticked off, and I was walking around on campus like I'm gonna light somebody up. The next person say something, and he said, "Hey, come here, come here." He said, "Do you need to know how to meditate?" And I said, "I would like to. I just don't know what to do." He says, "Tomorrow's Saturday." He says, I'm hanging out at this dorm and I want you to meet me on the patio. And I said, okay. I met him on this patio. And that it was like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when he asked me to meet him.
Mm.
And it started to drizzle that day. He said, I'm gonna teach you how to meditate where rain don't bother you. So I'm saying, well, we'll stay on the back of the patio. It's fine. There's no rain. He took me out in the wooded area, man. And
Really?
he took me out. He had a blanket, he threw the blanket over me. We sat on this log. He says, I got this training when I was in the service. I said, really? He said, yeah, I got this training. My dad's a military man, and he taught me this. He said, if you can get in the elements and meditate and don't let nothing bother you, nothing all day long will bother you because you'll be so focused. And he did that with me for about 6 weeks, and then he had to go away. And I didn't think I could do it. He says, I'll be back in another 6 weeks or so. He said, I got somebody watching you to make sure you're meditating because you got to come to this spot all the time. I said, okay. And after a while, I got into it. And then from there, martial arts came in and studied some taekwondo and some other things. And by the time my senior year hit, Tai Chi popped up, and because I was already doing the meditation. I
Mhm.
was I was locked in. I was dedicated. And then in 1977, through a Tai Chi teacher that I had, he exposed me to one of his meditation teachers out of India. And the society was called the Maha Yoga Society, which was at that time you're confronting the illusions in your mind and in your world. And I got initiated, and it was called the Shaktipa. And the Shakti Pa is when the guru, anywhere in the world, all he needs is a photograph, and he's focusing on you, and he ignites your Kundalini for you. And so there I was, a hole in the wall in Hell's Kitchen, in an apartment, with 6 other people, and everybody left but me. And my experiences, I was like a drunken monk. I was trying to stand up. I was falling over. I was crying. I was laughing. I was making bird sounds, animal sounds. And then when I came out, everybody was looking at me because I was this quiet guy. And he let everybody else go after breakfast, and he walked around me 3 or 4 times. And he says, "Don't worry, the guru will always be with you." But the guru says, "You have the heart of a lion, but the spirit of a child." He said, "If you keep that, you'll learn everything you need to learn." And I started doing meditation like the Tai Chi. It was 7 days a week, 3, 4 hours a day. I would sit at home and meditate. I'd go into the park and meditate. And I just kept going. And then I had that in 1977. And 11 years later, I had what is called the awakening. And the awakening is from the Shaktipa, is when the Kundalini goes all the way up your spine and hits your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. And when that happens, you might black out. You might feel a lot of pain. I felt like I was in an oven because I was sweating profusely. But when my eyes closed, I saw what they call creation, which means you see the minute version of the cells
Mm-hmm.
and you see them
Mm-hmm.
start to split, split. And then what feels like your brain is melting at that point because you're so hot up there. And then becomes the descent. All of that has to come down. So that took 11 years to get there, and then another several years for it to get down your body back to your base, to the base of your spine. And then it happened again a different way another 10 years later. So I've had it twice. And just to have it once is a blessing. Not everybody even gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't trying to get it, it just happened. When it happened the second time, I felt uneasy. I was on a bus or something, and I felt very sick. And I said, I need to get off. Something says I need to get off, and I got off and stopped at this friend's restaurant. He says, "Man, you look like you about to pass out." I said, "I am." I said, "Can I go lay down?" And he took me to his office, and I laid down, and I was out like a light for about 3 hours.
Mm.
By the time I woke up, they were getting ready to close up. I was totally out. But I said, this must be the second coming, of that.
Now, I
Then I
want
didn't
to
have
ask you
any.
some questions about, I guess, as a layperson, some will think that meditation is boring. Is it?
Hmm. Well, if you sit for the first time and you're trying to find something, yeah, it's going to be boring because it's like sitting waiting for something. But the true essence of meditation, I always ask this question: what is meditation? And the it's defined as the act of finding your center of being, Being. But there's a second question: being what? That's the actual question. Being what? What is it that you are trying to be? After 50, 53, 54 years, that was in when I started in 1971. I'm still going strong every day. Uh, it is becoming what I wrote my book about. My book is exactly what these things you go through, basically.
This is your
And
newest book you're talking about, your seventh
yeah,
book, right? Yeah,
my
we'll
my
show that on
newest
the
book,
screen in a minute. Mm-hmm.
which is this book right here, Radiant Heart: The Seven Amazing Pathways to Connect, Activate, and Communicate with Your Higher Self. Your purpose for meditation is to transcend your mind, become your higher self. Now the thing is
Mm-hmm.
being able to hold all that energy. Not and I mean, as long as I've been doing it, I can hold it for about 5 minutes or so. I can feel the presence on me, for about 5 minutes. I can't hold it any longer than that. It's a lot of energy to harness.
I think people think when you start meditating that you have to control your thoughts, which is nearly
Mm,
impossible. In fact, I think that's what discourages a lot of people when they first start.
yeah, they stop. You should meditate. I tell even my class of students on Saturdays. I said meditate 20 minutes a day, up to 20 minutes a day, no more than that. Try to start out with two times a week. Okay, you can't do it once. You just do it once, you don't want to do it again. So at least pick 2 days out of the week, like every other day. Try to find out your best time when you meditate. And beginners should be morning time when they first get up. A little bit more intermediate could be evening time. Be done with the meditation. If you do it at nighttime, be done with your meditation. So you got like an hour or so before you go to sleep.
So in other
After
words, you don't meditate and then say, "Okay, I'll go to sleep." You got to give it some space. Is that what you're
You
saying?
should, because if you trigger yourself properly over the period of months and years that you're meditating, you won't be able to go to sleep because your mind is super active. Even though it's calm, it's wide open and you're feeling things. So meditation is like more advanced parts of more like what out of body experiences are like. That's like meditation. Marathon runners meditate too. They learn how to get in sync with the rhythm of their body, get past their pain, and they keep looking at the end. They don't look at the first 50 yards in
Yeah,
front.
the
They
process they're in.
project ahead of time.
Yeah.
So that way they get carried to the next. And what will happen is you'll get past that zone where your thoughts don't bother you.
The motivational speaker, Dwayne Dwyer, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing his
Oh,
name
Wayne
correctly.
Dyer, yeah,
Dwayne Dwyer, thank
the
you.
late Wayne
Yeah,
Dyer.
yeah, the late one. He said that meditation is like talking to God, but intuition is God talking to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because see, in the beginning of stages, I always tell my students just work on breathing, how it feels to breathe. And I teach them techniques where they're not pushing behind their breath, they're actually leading their breath where they want it to go.
What do you mean? That's interesting
So
because
the
people say I
interesting
can breathe.
factor,
Everybody
and
breathes, right?
right now I have them tapping their pineal gland a little bit right now. My students out here. What happens is if you touch yourself right here,
The third
in
eye, as we
in the
call
third
it.
eye, that's where it
Yeah.
may emanate. For some people, it may emanate out of here a little higher up, but
Mm-hmm.
right in here. So if
Mm-hmm.
you put your focus there, when you inhale, you're thinking about that point, and you'll feel the breath of the energy behind it come up past your sinus cavities in here and actually touch in that region. And then when you're exhaling, you're not pushing behind your breath, you're putting your mindset like right out here past your nostrils, and you're leading your breath out. And when you can get in the habit of doing that, it becomes a lot easy. It's like a pendulum on a clock going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the ability to breathe as a baby does, which we call the yogic style breathing, where you lay one hand on your chest and your job is not to raise your chest, but to
With your
use your
stomach.
abdomen
Yeah.
to extend your abdomen out, your belly out. Over a period of time, you'll be able to do it naturally. Your belly button will just come forward and you're inhaling. And
Yeah.
animals do that too. If you watch their bodies, they're inhaling, they're exhaling. The babies do it.
Yeah. That was something I learned in kind of the martial arts where they
Yeah.
put to lay on your stomach
Hmm.
and your abdomen would breathe, not your chest is expanding, your stomach.
Yeah, you need your stomach to breathe, all your weight going there. And so there's three regions. Right now I'm teaching students to put all their awareness to the left side of their head, all the way down to the left side of their body, arms and legs to slide all that energy over. And once they're able to do it, they're cleaning out, they're staying empty on the other 2/3 of their body. Then they slide all the way to the other side, and the other side is empty. Then they bring it right down the center, the width of their neck, right down the center of their body. What that does, that gives you an opportunity to get past the physical. Now you're this conscious self in this physical form, but you're not paying attention to your physical form. You're only paying attention to how you are to breathe. And once you get that, usually when my students sit with me, after about 6 months, they're knocking at the door for their higher self. And the higher
That's
self
interesting.
shows up.
Because in India, they call it prana, right? Which is the
Yeah.
breath, the science of breath or prana.
Yeah. Prana just means the electromagnetic energy in your breath. That's what that is. It's
Okay, hold up.
electromagnetic
We all
energy.
have an electromagnetic energy in our breath.
Yeah, because when you think, that is your electrical side. You're sending something out. So with your breath, when you're exhaling, you're sending out. When you're inhaling, you're drawing in. I tell my students, get a plant or sit there with a tree and see it. And they say, well, I don't know how to do this. I says, if you're not focused on the physicality of the tree, you will see a little energy form signature of the tree coming your way every time you inhale. You'll actually see it through what we call your psychic sides of your eye. You'll see this little vibration coming up. And then if you're not thinking about it too much, when you exhale, you'll see it jump back. You'll see it come in. You'll see it jump back. So in essence, when we are breathing, now think of it this way. If someone upset you and you said, I'm going to retaliate, and once you say that, when you're inhaling, you're drawing everything to you. And when you're
Interesting.
exhaling, you're pushing
Interesting.
everything away. So what happens? That's what happens in martial arts when they're in the kumite. When if somebody knows how to breathe, you can make the other person make a move before they want to make the move because you bringing them into your wheelhouse, not in theirs. And so when that happens, then the person can't get out of your way because they realize they don't know what's going on, but they know something's about to happen. And they can't get away from it because they're constantly in that person's wheelhouse, which that person can hit them at any time or not hit them at any time. The strongest hit is no hit. You just putting all that energy into the space where the person gets frustrated and they walk away,
Hmm. Hmm.
which is the highest form of martial arts in that sense, to make the person get out of your way, get out of your field of energy.
Yeah, not the death. You're going to be breaking bones and all that other stuff that we see a lot in the movies.
Yeah, and any martial arts will tell you this is why they train to fall, so that if it happens, somebody get picked, they can fall. They have the instinct to fall. You see, but the whole goal is not get hit, and that was Muhammad Ali. You can swing all day long, but you ain't gonna hit me. I'm gonna move out the way. Where Mike Tyson was, I'd scare you to death.
No, he just give you the look and it's a wrap. You know.
It's a wrap.
Let me answer this. For beginners, how long should they start? Or I guess is it an individual basis? Some
Yeah,
beginners are more
everybody's
advanced than
different, but
others.
I always tell people if it's your very first time, just strive for 5 to 10 minutes because our ego part of ourselves is the side of us who doesn't want to sit, doesn't want to be still. So, and I tell my students, happens to me all the time. I can get to the point where my eyes are itching. You're scratching your face. That's your
Yeah,
ego side of your
yeah,
mental side
yeah.
saying, we don't need to sit out and meditate. Come on, let's go." So that happens. So you got to get past that. But your thoughts are always going to be there. Why? Because you've had experiences leading up before you sat to meditation. You see. So those thoughts are going to come up. So I tell my students, let the thoughts come up. But once you know that they have come up and you're thinking, don't engage it. Just act like you didn't have the thought. And then eventually that slides away. Now they're ready for the next level. So if they can do that within about 10 minutes, then it's 15 minutes. I tell people if you can sit for 10 minutes, at least for 10 minutes, every day for 1 week, don't miss a day. The eighth day extended by 5 minutes. Then when you get to the 16th day, extended by 10 minutes. Now you will have 20 minutes on your plate after about 2 weeks or so.
Hmm.
After that, you can get to 30 minutes by the end of the month.
What about people that don't have patience? Because we in the world of instant gratification now.
Oh
I
yeah.
ain't got no
Well,
time to get that long.
then I say it like this, and I say it in my book. Some of the things I got in my book there. If you have psychological psychiatric issues, that may not be the book for you. If you're suffering from post traumatic disorders, that book may not be for you because I'm talking about certain things that I'm doing in that book that I'm not going to be responsible for. They need to speak to their health provider before they open this book
Well,
because people need to be held accountable. So I don't know who's reading the book. I don't know what their background is, but if they are my students directly, then I have an idea, of how they are. Even when I do the meditations on Saturday, my guided meditations, I'll ask
Hmm.
right up front, who has anybody who has a fear of water, bad experience with water, or fire, or something else. And once I find that out, I readjust the guided meditation. So I
Well,
do
why do
not
you say
trigger it.
water or fire? Those are nature. Those are elements of nature.
Yeah, but some people have problems. Some people have had experience of drowning. Some people have had actual fires in a house. Wake up with that. Some people have a fear of heights. I'm not in control of everything I do. Heights are not exactly my friend. But I've been up heights. But I try to envision that I'm on the ground. The ground. So everything in nature is assisting me, where I'm part of the earth. Therefore, I'm in better control. Just like in the wintertime, if it's too cold for you, think of summer. And what will happen is your muscles in your body will relax because you're sending the signal. It's cold. I see it's cold. I see it's ice. But in here, it's summer. And your body starts to relax. So the mind can play a game, but we have to control it. So meditation teaches you to control your mind. Your mind is your thinking process, your experiences about things you felt before, all kind of experience, your fears. A lot of this, your fears and doubts. There's an old Zen story, and I'll keep it try to short. A person was in a Zen school, Zen hall, and he couldn't meditate. Everybody else was doing fine, but he just could not meditate. He would break up out of the meditation. So he went to his master, the Zen master, and he kept complaining about things that he kept seeing. And the Zen master would give him remedies. But this second or third time he came to the Zen master says, "You're seeing what? A spider?" He said, "Yeah, the spider's attacking me in my meditation." He said, "Take this piece of chalk, and when you wrestle with that spider, you mark its belly, and you will have won, victorious." A couple of weeks or days goes by. Here come the Zen student. He's excited to tell the master, "Master, I've I conquered the spider. What did you do?" "I marked it with its belly." Zen master stood up, pulled up his robe. He marked himself. All his thoughts became what he was afraid of.
The power of the mind is amazing. I guess that's what uh, hypnosis can do, things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. But I want for people who may have questions about. Also, we'll do a couple of readings if you don't mind for some
Yeah.
people that's in the house. But
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to make sure because I've had you on several times. I've had you on countless times, really over the decades.
Mm-hmm.
But we've always talked about the numerology, and then you took on the meditation. And I said to myself one day, that man loves meditation just as much as he loves numerology.
Well, I teach it out here. I have every fourth Sunday for free online. I do a planetary healing meditation. I get people into the vibration of themselves and putting light out on their property and their neighborhoods and so on. The first That's free. The first Sunday, I have a creative pathwork meditation group, and that's a fee, a small fee. And I actually use it's in three parts. First part, I'm getting them geared up for what we're going to do. The second and third part, but it's all about learning how to get in touch with themselves. And I am using some creative path work meditation techniques that I have. Some of them I put in my book. Most important is the white light meditation. People should understand what that is and how to work with that energy. And the most important thing is it's already present. It's not like they got to cook it up. This energy is sitting in your auric field. Once you start to focus on it, it starts to pop up.
This person here, Eartha Pierce, says, I love to do meditation. I do it every morning, 3 in the morning, between 3 and 5 in the morning. I meditate, but sometimes hours. It's just uh, a close with God, meditating in your prayers. Is there an
Hmm.
ideal time? Because I was told That if you get up about, there's something in the energy about between
Yeah.
3 and 5 o'clock. Is
From
that
3 a.m. to 5 a.m., there's two things. That's most important thing is, according to Chinese Taoism and martial arts, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. is lung qi. Your lungs are wide open and they're carrying through it pure oxygen coming up out of the ethers. So happens to be the deepest sleep before dawn, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. That's when the world is considered very quiet, you know.
well?
So that 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. allows you to get very much in touch with the energy around in your auric field and your neighborhood beyond. Prayer is a form of meditation as well. And what I get my students to do is we are working toward the silent path of meditation, where we're not saying a word. We're getting in tune. I have people radiate off the heart center in the body because I'm a heart centered person. And from that point, your heart is your universe. In the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life system, the heart is called the sun. So if you are there in the sun, which is your heart, you become in touch with everything else that's going and coming through you and around you.
Let me tell you this. I am so blessed with our viewers because remember your mother talked about rebels.
Hmm.
Well, Veronica Anderson says Black History Facts.
Yeah.
The Reverend Hiram Revels, Senator from Mississippi.
Hmm.
What an honor.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
One time I was watching Jeopardy, and it came up as the question. I said, "Wow, there we go. We made it to Jeopardy." Yeah, I got cousins in Atlanta too. A lot of them down there.
Wow, wow. This
Yeah,
is nice.
Mississippi. Yep.
This is nice.
Thank you,
Now,
Veronica.
yeah, thank you. Sonia Ross says, this is good information. I've been meditating for 12 minutes daily for the last 14 months. Now, somebody don't have to be like uh, a Paramahansa Yogananda would meditate all day or like the Dalai Lama and stuff like that. 12 minutes, what would be sufficient for, like in the case of Sonia, 12 minutes? But at least she's
Well,
consistent.
yeah, she's consistent. Now, what she can do is just add on a few minutes. When you do it shorter, there's such a thing as I call dynamic meditation.
What does
Dynamic
that mean?
meditation is, and this is something I learned from like Tai Chi and stuff. And from martial arts, they tell you when you're about to hit it, the body is totally relaxed, but until it hits its target, everything tightens up
Yeah.
and it can move, right? So dynamic chi in 12 minutes, you're building that energy up inside your body. The chi is running, but just underneath your skin, on top of your muscle, there's a film there called a fascia. So when you're meditating, if you can get your mind into that region, you will be pulling all the chi up around the body. So in that 12 minutes, what's going on is she's getting charged up. So now, if you want, you could bring that into the heart chakra. You could bring it into the sacral. You could bring it into the solar plexus. You could bring it up around your eyes or the top of your head. You could bring it into the palms. Like when you close your hands, the index finger hits the heart center right
Yes.
in your palm.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I tell this with my students when we start. I said, start doing this, relax, start doing this, and I make it. Then I said, bring down one hand and put it over the center of your sternum and gently rub. It doesn't matter which direction that you're going in. Keep the relationship. Now you got a relationship between the center of your palms and your heart. And then I tell them, put your mind in the sole of your feet. While you're doing that, now we're energizing two palms, two soles of the feet, and the heart. And then what's going to happen is I get them to feel everything again beyond their physical form. Now, people will say, well, when you're sitting in a group form, you're overriding each other's energy. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
What's
people
happening
something else.
is the energy is traveling around the room now as a group. And I tell them now focus in the center of the room and tell me what you see when I bring you out. And a lot of people say, man, I can feel like whirlwind energy. I felt warm. I felt cool. But when you're in group meditation, that heightens your energy. When you're by yourself, you got to do it by yourself. You have to tune into something. So if you're by yourself, tune into your heart center. And if you can sit outside, pick a tree and you'll find a tree, because the tree that you pick will tell you, no, 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 pick the one behind me. Because somewhere on that property is grandma tree and granddad tree, the big ones, the big
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are going to send you the energy. And you send an energy, and it works. When I used to live in other parts of Albuquerque and do my meditation outside, a Chinese couple picked up on the energy. They like on the other side of the golf course, came all the way around and found me and sat down behind me, meditating with me. And I turned around. I said, "Excuse me?" And the elder guy says, "I found you." He says, "I told my wife I can't sit here and have breakfast. I must find whoever's radiating this energy." And we kept walking, and then we could see you. You said you lit like a light bulb. This is
And
during
people
this is
and
during
see,
the
people don't
morning.
understand. People do have that kind of energy. That's
Yeah,
why one person can walk into a room and captivate everybody's attention as soon as they walk in, and then you have another person go into the room, sit there for hours, and nobody never know when they came in, much less left. Now,
right.
here's a question that's interesting. Goddess Original says, "Will you be meditating during the solar eclipse?" I was
Okay.
told that you should.
Yeah. Now, this is why I say yes. I've been meditating for this 50 some odd years, since 1971. Um, for people who are not really deeply into meditation, and if you do not know yourself, and if you do not have a connection to your higher self, then I wouldn't meditate during the solar eclipse. But if you know yourself well enough, when you're meditating, everything that came into this world with you is going to be with you while you're meditating. And it's going to send up the conduit, because what the sun is doing right now, the sun is always sending out signals. The sun is sending out signals all the time. So if you know how to project yourself toward the sun, you will be able to hear the signal from the sun. And some people, I used to belong to a solar rejuvenation group, and they used to say too, don't meditate. And I said, wait a minute, I've always have. So I tested it. I said, I'm going to receive a dream within 3 or 4 days after this solar eclipse meditation. And what I got, and it was just me, I don't know what anybody else got, but for me, it was like at that point, that's when this thing about the higher self kept coming. It says, greetings, now you know where I'm at. These are one of the homes that I visit while you are asleep. The
That's interesting.
energy. They see the solar eclipse, yes, the moon passing between the earth and the sun. So all you see is the corona.
Yes,
But you
exactly.
but you're
Exactly.
receiving information all the time. To some people, they say a solar eclipse means, a lot of negativity is going to run on the planet. Well, a lot of negativity is always running on the planet, and a lot of elite organizations or groups are constantly sending out signals to interrupt your meditation. So technically, somebody somewhere doesn't want you to connect with the solar vibrations of the sun. But this is the way I look at it. The sun in the sky is a keyhole. Behind it are other suns. And you need to connect beyond that sun, because that's where your higher self is emanating. That's where your star being yourself. That's why we keep looking up in the heavens all the time, because we know that there's ancestors there too. You've lived all over the galaxy. It's just a matter of you reconnecting.
One time an artist told me, he says that man, it talked about here referring to in this world that we live
Hmm.
in, Earth, that he says man talks about going into outer space, and he already says, but brother, we are in outer space.
Hmm. All the
We
time.
just one of many planets in the galaxy of things.
There,
Uh,
see, there are many things. I meditate regardless. I don't care if it's lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, whatever. I meditate regardless. Why? Because when I'm not meditating, I'm not centered. So for me, if thousands of people aren't meditating, you opened up the frequency, the airwaves for me, because I'm going to be listening. I'm going to be sensing what's coming through the planet. Now, during that time, these solar eclipses, I'll put this out. Military intelligence agencies, they got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, in fact, I understand there's going to be supposedly the Army's been called to a special thing on April 8th, which is the new moon, because
Hmm.
not only will the sun be in Aries, the moon will be in Aries on that new moon day, the
Hmm.
day of the solar eclipse. In some states, kids are taught to or encouraged to stay home or whatever the case is. But it's very interesting. Listen, Mariah Harris, 444 says she has people living with her, so it's hard for her to focus, but she's
Right.
also an empath, so she
Hmm.
can feel when others are there.
Right.
What would you, what's the best way for her to handle that, you would suggest? Because
Well,
that's like here in New York City. It's very hard. 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, there's a
yeah,
siren, there's
because there's a
some
lot
kind of
going
noise.
on. What
Yeah.
people need to learn how to do is how to shield up their energy.
How
Uh,
so?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking, like a white light energy. It already exists. All these energy ranges and frequencies already exist from us. We're frequency people. We're constantly giving off energy all the time. And so certain things you wear, certain crystals that you have around you can help tone that down, like black tourmaline energies will slow that down. Selenite will absorb anything that's negative, turn it around and spit it out so that it's positive. Clear quartz, amethyst, citrine quartz families, they're amplifiers. So if you can learn how to feel a white light presence, which is coming from you, from your heart, and from your third eye and your brain and all, coming
Hmm.
around you, and you're engulfed by that light, you can expand that light. Then you can program that light, because there's divine intelligence particles in the air that no matter what the military is doing, them particles are still there and is waiting for somebody to call it up. This is why people could call up their ancestors. Ancestors are gonna come anyway. Your
Yeah.
ancestors who are beyond the veil, they're gonna come anyway. So what people can be doing before the 8th is talk to your ancestors. How did they handle things in their day when there was eclipses and things of that nature? How did your generations of ancestors handle these things? They went out and they called upon their ancestors, called upon the ethers to work on your behalf. What might be happening, who knows, on the 8th? All these militaries. Why? Because they've been triggering people for a long time. There's no accident. So they're hoping certain people will act out en masse that day. Therefore, they can arrest some people, annihilate some people. They're only looking for the ones they think can agitate, but I guarantee you they can look for the quiet ones too. So you have to. I'm a quiet one.
I
I'm
was
not.
always told you got to watch those quiet ones.
Yeah. What it is your ability nonstop, no matter what's going on in the world, nonstop. Do your meditation. If you're told from your higher self not to meditate, then don't do it. If you're told get your meditation in or after, do that. But you should be following, that's the intuitive nature, following what your higher self is telling you what to do. Your higher self is not controlled by anybody but you. In the church, they call it Shekinah, the eminence, the presence of God showing up. That's the higher self.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, Paramahansa Yogananda, he started a society called the Self Fellowship Society. What he's talking about the higher self, how
Yeah.
to get in touch. There's many ways to do it. Sound, the brothers that give you the organite necklaces, all of that is designed to keep crap off of you so you can shoot straight up and get the information that you need.
Do you have Paramahansa Yoganandi's book, The Biography of a Yogi?
I had it a long
That's
time
like
ago.
a
I gave it
classic.
to someone.
Yeah, that's like a
That
classic.
is a classic. He left the world in the middle of a lecture, I think. Something like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
He knew
yeah.
he was going, so he left.
And they said his body laid and stayed above ground with no, just smelling like flowers, man. Just a
Because
pure
he
heart.
changed the body. He changed the DNA all those years.
Yeah.
That's a testament to itself if you can do that.
Yeah. For those of you who should get autobiography, yoga is about that thick though, but like it's
Well worth it.
yeah. Now in this case, my heart, she said she's born. So we're gonna take just a couple of readings
Yeah.
if you don't mind. I
Yeah.
I thought I was talking about 30 minutes. I see we almost at the hour point.
Well, let's
Maybe we
take
might
them.
go just a little over. She's born May 15th.
Hmm.
So what would you say about Mariah Harris 444?
Okay, her life path of destiny number is a 5. Okay, when that adds up, but she's born on the 15th. She's a very deep person. She needs to pay very much attention to her life, how she governs her life, and yes, who's in her circle socially, who's close to her, who's not close to her. I get a feeling with the vibration of that she carries that she can help transform partnerships and relationships of all kinds because her life path number is talking about being inquisitive and wanting to know things. Her birthday number 15 says, I already know. I just not need to overwhelm myself with material things or financial worries and things of that nature. See, she's at the 15 is a 10 root compound number, so she's an original thinker. And then she's got the 5. She likes to communicate. And 1 plus 5 is a 6. So she is connected to being in service to people.
All right, you cleared that up. Thanks. I hope that helped you too, Mariah. This one, CC, thanks so much for the donation. She is an Aquarius, February the 7th, 86. And she says her sun is in Aquarius and her moon and her rising or ascendant is in Leo.
Wow. Well, you can answer all of that. We're in the sign of Aquarius
Yeah, the
now,
age of it.
fully.
Yeah,
We're in the
definitely.
age of Aquarius. So 1986. Okay, hold on. So it's interesting. Her life path number is more like the 24/6.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's born on the 7th. So she knows and understands things that are spiritual. She's connected to that. But she also needs to become a little bit more grounded, especially when it's handling finances or business, things of that nature. Um, Also, I was just looking at her initials, CC, like from her name, Christine Curtis. 3 and
Hmm.
3, that's a 6. So she could be a naturally born person that's good at teaching, counseling, marriage counseling, things like that would help her very much. And but she has the number 7, so she can work toward being a spiritual counselor, lawyer, judge. She can also, being born in 1986, that is in itself a universal 6. So
Well,
that's,
all I can say is Cece said spot on, indeed.
yeah,
Okay.
she's got strong energy. Thank you.
Um, Original goddess that answered, that gave the information, Shonetta, she's March the 3rd of Pisces. What say you about her? A Pisces like you.
Yeah. Well, the 3 is creativity, a strong number for creativity. The 1976 here, this is very powerful. So her destiny number is 20, which is a 2. So it's all about partnerships, arrangements, and agreements. But she also can bring in communication fields that would be very helpful for herself. Um, Dealing with children sometimes, writing books for children. She could do something with films that would be also very helpful for her. And she has an eye for setting trends, like fashion trends, that she can do very well. Now, I'm focusing on the 3, and in my head, I keep hearing musical tones. So she could study tuning forks, working with gongs, crystal bowls, things like that would be very, very helpful. It would work as a healing mechanism to calm her nerves. Those 3 could work in the nerve range, of that. But people born in like 1976 Got that 76 was a 4, and her birth year is a 5. So it's all about moving swiftly. But you got 335.
Yeah.
So it's all about creativity right now, being as creative as possible.
Miss Sylvia here says says they're curious about what Elder Revels-Bey has to say about her birthday. She's born September 18th, 82.
Wow. 18 is are dreamers, you know. They dream big. They make things happen. The 18 is sort of like a Pisces number. You should definitely follow your dreams. Your strong number 2009 was like a universal 11, but it's a 11 master 2. That's your life path number. And so you can make something happen. When I add that 2 to the 18, that's 20. 1982 is a 20. You're
Mm-hmm.
powerful. You're ahead of your time. Very much, Sylvia. You're very much ahead of your time. You just have to believe more in yourself right now. You could become a motivational, inspirational speaker. And I'm being told to tell you a renowned speaker.
Oh, so we're gonna have to get her autograph. Okay, good. That's what that
Yeah,
sounds
get
like.
that book out. I want a book.
Now here's another 18, Goldie Lee, July 18th. A different
Okay.
sign, same birth date, but a different sign.
Okay. This is interesting, okay? Because she has a birth year that has a master number out there, double digits. When people have double digits like that in their birth year right at the end, what that tells me is that sometimes they will change their focus, change their mind. So if you're dealing with partners, whether it's a relationship or business, you need to let them know ahead of time, not to rush you in the decision making department, because you need time to think things through. Okay, that's highly important. Then you're looking at July 18th, 1988. You got three eights in there.
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing
Yeah.
too.
So
Exactly.
three eights will have you commanding forces, you know, like triple eights, commanding the Christ energy, the consciousness. You should go into meditation. Now you're born 718. 718, when we're looking at the numbers, just give me a second. Well, the 1988 is a universal 8. So you are sporting a master number. It's hidden in here. She's got a master number 33 sitting in that destiny number.
The way you
Okay.
add it, I see it. I
Yeah,
see it.
master number 33. So, and I just, the thing that you want to be able to do, Goldie, is to find something that you're good at, master it, and find something else that's connected to it. One of the things I see when I'm looking at your picture, crystals. You should definitely go into the science of crystals and how they work. Crystals in homes, the piezoelectric energy in quartz stones and things of that nature. One of the crystals, not just selenite, but you can also go into understanding lapis lazuli, moldavite, things of that nature. Um, Spirit tells me you're like old school a little bit too. I see someone walking around you. This is like an elder that understands herbs, herbology expert, understands the gems that made medicines and things like that for the family and salves. You should look into that to see if anybody in your family on the mother or the father side that did it, because you possess it right now.
Very good. This is a double-edged question where I can answer the first part and you answer the second part. She
Okay.
says, what time of day does the solar eclipse take place? Well, here in North America, it starts in Texas at 1:27 their time, Central Standard Time, which would be 2:30, 2:27 our time on the East Coast. So the time frame would be 2:37, between 2:37 and 3:33. So it's going to be a total of 68 minutes when the whole path is
Yeah.
coming in North America. I'll
Hmm.
explain that on Wednesday. Now, her part is, when is the best time to meditate for a person who has to work during the day? But that's
Okay.
a great question.
So yeah, I can, because I used to have jobs and stuff too. You have to find out, can you reserve again 10 to 20 minutes before you have breakfast, which means you might have to get up early in order to do that. If you're not an early riser, Then consider when you take your lunch break or that morning break, use that as the time if you can to meditate.
I was going to ask you that. But
Yeah,
where do
because
you go during lunch? Because if you're in a downtown city like a New York,
well,
you
you
know,
find, hey, this is when you find where parks are and places, little city. Because here's one of the things that will happen once you get into the cycle of meditation. I will guarantee you, it is. I've seen it. I've experienced it with students that lived in California that came out 8 or 9, 10 years before I moved out here, and I had them meet me in Bryant Park, and we sat there. It was two women in Bryant Park and myself, and was nobody was around, and I got them into the guided meditation, real deep meditation. Next thing I know, somebody's dog was sitting next to me, was happy that that meditation was going down. There was somebody else sitting on park benches. Was nobody sitting on the park benches before, but 30 minutes into that meditation, people were feeling the energy and they just started coming and coming. And what I was told at the end, the people that came around, they didn't disturb us. But when we got ready to leave, they said, "Man, you got a card? It was so peaceful over here."
yeah,
And then this other
yeah,
lady said, "My dog would not sit by me. So I decided to let the dog go. Next thing I know, the dog is sitting next to you."
yeah. But animals have a more instinct, a more
Because
primal
they
instinct
what
about
it
things.
is I found out is they see images.
Really?
They see images. So let's say somebody's afraid of a dog's gonna bite. Your thought in your mind, the dog is gonna bite me, the dog is gonna go, okay. You just threw
I'll
the
grant
thought.
your wish.
I'll grant your wish, but if you go, that dog is gonna be calm no matter what. Because I'm calm. The dog will turn its head and back away or start making signals like you must be the master because I got it. Don't jump on you. But I want to, but I won't.
This person here, T, thanks so much for the donation. Sarah S. 11477 of Scorpio. She said she appreciate any advice you may offer. Revels-Bey?
Hmm. See, she's also got that 70, that double digit out there. See,
Yeah.
so her birth year adds to a six. Um, I have to hold a thought in my mind to say something to the previous person when I'm done with this one. Okay, so here's a very unique thing I'm seeing that's going on. This lady's destiny number adds to a three. The compound number is 21. So that means wisdom. Rely on wisdom that you have, innate wisdom, but also acquire some more wisdom. You're born on the nature of the four. Four is about foundation, creating foundation, but keeping your life simple. That's highly important. Then you're born in the 11th month. So, what you may have acquired in the first 28, 29 years of your life, 28 years, is paying attention to your dreams and visions that you keep getting. So, what you want to do is any dreams or things that are now going to pop up in your life, Sarah, they're going to mean something of significance to you. And I feel it's all about change, making some change. And it's not making a major change, just shift the way that you look at things. So let's say if you got family members that tick you off and friends that tick you off, you're going to decide not to let them tick you off.
And just shift the whole energy as a result.
Shift the whole energy. We call that turn the table. Let that energy go back to them. Don't tune into it. Try to find a quiet space to be. See, Scorpios are the surgeons of the zodiac. You cut them too deep, they'll cut you deeper than they get cut. But they have the ability, a very strong-willed mind. So she's a fixed water sign. She can control those energies. And with the four, be different,
Yeah.
be
That's fine.
dramatically different than what people expect you to be, and then they leave you alone.
Miss Sylvia says, wow, she's working on a book now, which you also mentioned.
Yeah,
So I told you
cool.
we're going to get your autograph. Make sure you let DM us, as they call it, and what,
Before you take the next one
yeah, the
for
one that
Elizabeth,
you had
for
somebody in your
Elizabeth, the one prior to that, if she's still on, what she needs to do is try to do the meditation either nighttime or early morning.
Oh, yes, that's the one that has to work during the day.
Right.
Okay. Thanks very much, Crystalline Mars, for the donation. Much appreciated. And This person here also made a donation. They're born September the 5th. Meditation advice and where to put my intentions for family services and business.
Okay. Well, you notice you're number five. Five loves communication, sales, promotional
Yeah.
efforts, and things of that nature. So when you're dealing with meditation, for you, you need visualization techniques. So if you want your family to see them get along and harmonious, envision them doing so. Actually see that happening. You might have to be five can adapt to anything. So you might have to be the person that creates the energy field for that to take place. You may have to be the mediator at the same time. Dealing with business is promoting yourself more, marketing yourself. But you may not have to be the one that does the marketing. You may attract the people that's what they do. You just tell them the parts that you want to be placed out there in the atmosphere.
Candy J donated $2. Thanks so much, Candy. Much appreciated. Um, this person here, Rara, you give advice, insight on what my gift is. They're born February the 15th of 81, or the direction of their business.
Okay. Well, 15 is a Capricorn. See, so 15 or Capricorn energy, recognition is the thing. So I don't know what your business is, but I think you need to be the person that needs to be in the public eye as much as possible. Better yet, find those locations where you can do business networking. So you got to talk a lot about yourself. And then rah rah, that's the solar energy. The feminine side and the masculine side coming together. So you're able to pull it off, make things happen, be very strong with your energies, be the communicator. So you're born in 1971. 1971 is a nine, and then 17, 26. Your destiny is an eight. You're
Yep.
supposed to
Yep.
you're supposed to present your ideas in a very joyful manner. Try comedy. You try to break the ice with a little bit of comedy, or if you're just talking to people, ask people how many of you are here for the first time. Then you say, I'm here for the first time too. What that does, that relaxes the audience. You're not coming across as an arrogant person. You're not an arrogant person at all. That 15 tells me you really know what you're talking about, and you're a high achiever type of person at the same time. So you need to become like the other person, inspirational speaker, motivational speaker. Study all the great ones that are out there now and see how you can become better. By the way, Lisa Nichols for you.
Now
Rah,
this
rah.
is Sean Lee, Shane Lee, Freeman. Look at all the fours. 4 month,
Yeah.
22nd, born in the year of the 20. Actually, the year is a master number 22.
Yeah,
They're
that's gonna
born
say.
on the 22. They are
Yeah.
literally a four across the board.
Yeah. And his birthday in the year produced another massive number, which is 44. Now you add that together, we get 48, which is a 12 or 3. But what's going to happen for him with the master number 22 now? 22 is a reflection of the master number 11. The 11s are the dreamers and the visionaries. They hold a dream, but they usually hold the secrets. 22 releases the secret once it understands what the vision is. So, with a destiny number 3, be very highly creative. And I wonder if that's an image of him drawing or painting there, because that would be the artist nature coming out very strongly. Perhaps what he could do this year.
That is true. It looks like he's sketching something on the wall.
Yeah, he would be in a on his birthday. He would show up in a 7 personal year. So he's supposed to go within. He doesn't have to spend all year, but the earliest stages, the first 60 days after his birthday, he needs to go within and discover who he is more so, and bring out those finer points. He would make an excellent teacher no matter what field he taps into.
All righty. This is the person that donated Crystalline. They without a birthday, but they include their birthday now. Double Jones, August 18th.
Another
Fire,
18.
fire.
And they know their life path number is 22.
Yeah.
And now here's the deal: when you Lloyd will tell you this too. When you have a birthday number that's a master number, or a destiny number that's a master number, it's not easy to accomplish. Okay, so what this person, Dublé Jones, what you're going to have to be able to signify is find out what it is that you want to do the most and then expand that. The 18 is you're very sensitive to your environment and you're a Leo. You're born what, 8, 9, you're born 10 days or so, 11 days after the Lion's Gate energy is its strongest. So you should step back in to your spiritual nature and bring it forward as much as you can. Dreams are going to play a very important part for you, and you're going to have a lot of dreams that are going to connect you to your ancestors. When I tune into this person, I get a lot of white on this side, on the left side. This person has a very high consciousness, very innocent person, and very forthright. Basically, Dublé Jones, you're a pioneer.
Okay, well, good. We want to find out what they're going to do. Now, this is Isha Lewis. They're born January the 20th. Things are changing for me. Do you have any advice, homework, or etc.? And
You
I'll let
need
you go
to,
in about 5 minutes.
okay, you need to clear out the closet. Find out what it is that you're afraid about that's holding you back a little bit. Right around now, a lot of people are talking about the shadow self. The shadow self is really not negative. It's just things that we throw in the back that we don't feel like dealing with. So try to get to those things right away and clear that up for yourself. I pick up a little problem, in essence, with the stomach area with you at the same time. Something with the stomach that's
And
going
they're
on.
born in the year of the 20 also.
Yeah, and they're going in their life path number, it puts them into a 5.
Yep.
So,
Could be
but
a nervous stomach.
yeah, nervous stomach, but there's something going on with them spiritually, so to speak. They don't have a fear about dealing with other people. They just have a fear about, I think, revealing themselves to themselves, getting to know who you really are. Basically, chart it, what I don't like and what I do like about myself. Then to turn to somebody who's very close to you and tell them to tell you 3 things they like about you, that they see in you, and see how all that pairs together. But you need to get ready to step forward.
I'm gonna just get 3 more and get you off this phone. This is one more person. Thanks for the donation. Prof Reed, they said they're born 5/5/1980, struggling to lose unexplained weight again, dealing with attacks on many fronts. Any advice?
Yeah, when we're gaining weight, we're shifting. So there's something that has to do with what when we gain weight. Look at what is it that you're holding on to, because
Interesting.
we're holding on. Now, I've had this problem myself, going up and down, up and down. You have to find out what's comfortable for you. A lot of people are going to tell you, well, man, you're 6'2" and you got to do this and you should weigh this amount. They're not your weight, they're not your height, and they don't know what you're going through. So you got to find out what is eating at you emotionally. Okay. Because you may not be overeating, but your body is holding on to something and is not ready to let it go. So you might have to do a little bit of fasting, and drink a little bit more water, but it should be more alkaline water, a high pH type of water to cleanse the system, especially your bladder and your kidneys. Okay, that's what I'm feeling for you. But also that unexplained weight gain is the universe has changed. It's flipped. We're in the sign of Aquarius now. So whatever was accumulated under the sign of Pisces, you're still walking around with it, and you need to release it. I'm seeing footsteps. So I mean, literally, when I focus on Professor Reed here, it needs to go walking a lot, walk a lot, bicycling a lot. That will also happen. Then, when you start to meditate, go within and ask this question: what is it that I need to know? So if you're dealing with different people, see them and ask, what is it that I need to hear, or what is it that I need to know? Now when you see them people, they're going to start speaking what they think is the truth, but what they're not saying is the real truth. Because a lot of people will say things to upset you, but the bottom line, Professor Reed, they wish they were you. It's
That's interesting.
jealousy. They wish they were you. So try to take meditation or prayer sessions, however you do them, and find out what is my power. I'm gonna tell you, you're a superpower.
Let me this person here, CV Connections. Thanks for the donation. They says was 3/22/2024 a good day to get married. That's only 3 days ago. So they're asking that, but I will say this:
Hmm.
numerically, it was a 6 universal day, which is
Yeah,
perfect. But
yeah,
because it's a 22, it tells me there must have been a very odd and unusual happenings around the day of that marriage. That's how
right.
I would look at it.
And it'll
Your
be
take on it,
interesting
Tim?
for them to contact either one of us later with the birth date numbers of both people.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you'll see how it fits
But
in.
on that day, that was a 6 universal day, which is excellent for marriage.
The
In that way, it
marriages.
is true.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Let me do just two more. I think we did one, two more. This is Ebony, hi, Angelic, E. Edwards Haywood. They're born January the 15th, 1992, born in DC. Do you have any advice for them?
Yes, it is a six. A lot of sixes came out today. The Capricorn six, okay? Their destiny number is either a 19, a 10, or which is a 1. So one of the things that they might want to do, say they're about 4. So this person is what, 30, 32?
Yeah, they're about 32, 30. Yeah, they're 32. Yep.
Yeah. So the 15 people born on the 15th, 17th, and 13th and 16th in your 30s, you have to make sure you're absolutely clear about what you like and don't like, and try to clear yourself and get stronger emotionally. That's one of the things I feel that's going to be very important. And also at the same time, you enter a this year you entered maybe I think it was a 6 personal year. 15 is 6 is 7. Yeah, 7 and 8. You enter the 15/6 like you're 15. Be more of yourself. It's going to be highly important. But you got to really get in touch with what is it that you want to do now. Try to find out what your purpose is, basically.
All right, good. At the bottom of the screen, you will see how you can get in touch with my brother, Francis F. Revels-Bey, a numerologist, extraordinary author, creative, pathwork meditation, just an extraordinary brother. His site is Circle of Grace #1.us. His contact number is 505-220-2583. Is that correct, sir?
Yes. Hmm.
His contact number again is 505-220-2583. His email is I am.circle of grace. And grace comes from your mother's name.
Right.
It's the name of your mother, right? So you
Right.
honor
With the
your
number
mother
one at the
at
end
number one, right?
at gmail
At,
dot
at
com.
Gmail and Cash App, $ Francis Revels-Bey.
E
Revels-Bey.
Rebels Bay.
Francis E. Revels-Bey.
Yeah.
Okay, let us be important. So that's going to run. And so let me do this before.
Any books or workshops, I got them.
Hold on. That's where you're in my head because that's what we're going to show right now. Let me do this. The comment section of section. Hide this. And let me do this. Now, this is your book. Talk about your book
Yes.
again, because it's now
Yes.
available on Amazon. Because
Amazon.
this is where I got the image from off
Yeah.
Amazon today.
It's a $25 paperback book, and it's going to talk about, it's divided into 4 sections. So in the 4 sections, I talk about what I mean by radiant heart. I talk about Circle of Grace 1, what that's about and how you get involved. Section 2 is, it's like in each section is almost like 6 chapters. Okay, so in section 2, I explain what the 7 amazing pathways are. One of them is sound and light. One of them is, the first and foremost one is how to do a white light meditation thoroughly for yourself. I go into a lot of details in there in those 7 pathways. You learn how to connect eventually with your higher self. When you get into the 4th part, it's talking about the philosophy of the higher self. The transcendental self is certain, it's right there. This thing is all about how you can make yourself better now. And again, we're being bombarded by a lot of stuff going on all the time. Cell phone, the TV set, you do remember, I know Lord and I do, when the planes would come through the neighborhood spraying stuff.
And they still do it.
They still do it, right? And people would say, like, what are they spraying stuff? No, it's like giving people cancer. They know what they're doing. They're not taking care of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are still around, they're even bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Although it's funny, it's not funny. I
it's
mean, it's
not funny,
really
but what
serious.
it's about is how to discover the different ways you can use meditation. So there's 7 distinctive ways in which you can do that. I even mentioned some yoga, schools of yogic thought in the beginning. These are the things that people should know about. But this book will help you get on the road and make your meditation a better meditation for yourself.
Now you finishing up your class. What you
Yeah, I'm
about
in
13 weeks
week
into
number
it?
8.
Eight into
This
13 weeks, right?
Yeah, 13 weeks.
Now, when is your new class starting again? When's the next cycle?
I have usually I try to like do it at least once a year because I got other things that are going on. Like for instance, on the first Thursday evening every month, that's the first Thursday at 6:30 p.m. I think I have it going on, which is 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do a workshop. It costs $97, and so some of the things that people will learn about, if I can find what the notes were. But what people will learn is how to make some changes, most important changes in their life. So, for instance, this Thursday, April the 4th, is creation of new realities, how you can use the spoken word, affirmations, and prayers and decrees to actually flip your life around. Because a lot of people say affirmations don't work. I'm like Reverend Ike. If you don't work it, it don't work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If you just thinking about
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and only try it for a couple of days, no,
yeah.
you got to work it. You got to keep on it. You know, that's April the 4th. Thursday, May the 2nd at 8 p.m. New frequencies or old frequencies. So how to make changes to elevate your life and shift it.
That makes sense. Makes
June
sense.
the 6th that's a Thursday. June the 6th is what our ancestors knew. You
I
see,
think I
if
want to
our
call you back for
ancestors
that
were
one.
around today, they would tell us, stop listening to the news. Stop listening, stop entertaining all of these conspiracy theories. You're it. See, our ancestors prayed for us to be here. So obviously we have something to do. And
Well,
I'm
we
talking
don't
about,
act like
think
it.
of the ancestors that you've had all over the world. When they were having a rough time, they laid that prayer out. They were saying to whoever they were speaking to, may I live long enough to see my lineage live.
And in a
And
better
while they
way.
are living, may they be free, freer than me. So you are everybody that's on here that's into metaphysics now and occult stuff, very positive stuff. You are the result of an ancestor's prayer.
Well, you know what? When's that in June?
That starts the first. Let me see that. Yeah, that'll be on June the 6th,
Yeah.
Thursday, June the 6th at 8 p.m. If they email me, I'll give them all of
No,
this.
no. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to commit and have you back on June the 5th to talk about that. Because
Okay.
we need to stay connected to our ancestors. We act like we ain't got nobody that we got here all by our little old selves. And that's not what's happening.
We
It
had a
didn't
lot of
quite
them.
happen like that. Okay.
And then I have another workshop. It's $333. It's also 8 weeks. It starts on Tuesday, I think May the 7th, and that's my signature system, 5 point creative pathwork system. And what that is how to write and use an affirmation, how to write your own prayer. I've had a lot of people say, "Well, I'm not a Christian." I said, "I didn't ask you that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
teach you how to
Yeah.
write your own prayer. What you feel is what you're supposed to pray about." Then I'll teach you about affirmative prayer. There's 5 different keys, and you can get affirmative prayer. Then you can also learn again meditation. We'll tweak your meditation, and then the 5th point is a decree. And if I can get the person to meditate enough, deeply enough, they will be able to speak a decree. They don't have to think about it; they'll speak it.
In other words, you're making reality.
make it reality.
I'm interested in the ancestors, so
Okay.
we can see the connections of why we are here because they existed.
They
Okay?
existed because they had prayers and rituals, and they were going through a lot of stuff. Whatever they went through, they did not want us to go through it.
Yeah, but and the irony is we're going through it in a whole nother way. But
Right.
let's talk about that. Uh, Revels-Bey, this is nice, man. Thank you, thank you. By the way, please make sure you pick up a copy of his book. That's available on Amazon,
Right now.
and that's very important. And congratulations, man! Congratulations on your seventh book. See, I wrote six. Now I got to step my game up. Okay, I'm at
And
seven.
I'm talking. What you'll see is 7 different books. You see, because I don't like to work in one lane. I have a lot of interest. My first book is up there. It's called "Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace." It tells you how I got into this,
Yeah, yeah.
what
I
clicked
think that
for
was your
me.
first one, wasn't it?
That's the first one,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's a paperback at 25. And I think the it was my first ebook, $8.88 as an ebook, that first one. And
yeah.
then the second one was The Wisdom of Akhenaten, As I Am. That's an ebook at $7.77, but the book is I think it's about a 20, it's about $11 for that book. But you'll see the prices. After that came The Gift, which is companion, the wisdom of Nefertiti, As I Am. And those two books, no notes were ever written on paper. It's coming out of a deep meditation and feeling something push me to the computer, and I sit down in the middle of the night and start typing. Those
That's
two
what
books
happened.
are channeled from upstairs.
Wow.
You know, whoever gets them, they're supposed to get them. And then there was Decree and It Shall Be. That's how to use the prayers and things. After that was The Age of Remembrance, the Divine I Am Presence in Selenite. I've been working with the gemstone selenite since 1988. How to work it, how to utilize it, whether you take it as a wand or a staff. But I say don't drink it because the shards, if it's in a rough form, you know. Then I came out with the numerology book that Lloyd bugged me, everybody, for like 10 years. When are you going to
Somebody
write the
got to do
numerology book?
it.
I remember I called Lloyd one time to wish him a happy birthday. The first thing out of his mouth is, brother, when you going to write your book? All right, all right, all right. Okay, I'll write this book.
Well, at least I'm focused. Okay, I'm
You're focused.
focused.
And then I wrote the book, the numerology book. The key to life is numerology. All my courses are named the same. The key to life is numerology.
Yeah,
That's book
yeah,
number 6.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there's an icon, a historical icon that I work on his name. So yeah, Wednesday night is week number 8, and their 13th week. That class is absolutely free. So
Lock
lot,
it in for Wednesday, June the 5th, so we can talk about the
yeah,
ancestors, so people can sign on for that and tune into the family. Because believe
yeah.
it or not, a lot of people still think they got here all by them little selves, and that's not reality. Revels-Bey, God bless you. Thank you so much, man. I've got to end this, and
Woo, we were almost a long time.
yeah. And before I do, I want to thank everybody very much. Also, I want to go backwards. I want to thank Jazz Aphrodite, who is sponsoring today's show. She has a master class coming up on her birthday, Saturday, April the 20th. She will be on the show on April the 15th to talk about her class. Her book will be available. So it should be a very good day. Miss Kimberly Manifest on Purpose. Her podcast comes on every Monday and Wednesday. She now features my Where the Moon forecast is on there, and I appreciate it very much for her sponsorship. And of course, my brother King Simon, who is going to have Hank Rising, son Mama Ella, and some other people on there. That Saturday the 13th, and on Sunday, April 14th, I will be present with uh, uh, Shahara Moore, Moselle, and of course Adara and myself with my brother King Simon. But I do want to thank everybody very much. And by the way, please pick up a copy of the March newsletter. It's almost a wrap, but it'll be here. It'll be over before you know it. On Wednesday, when I'm here, I'm going to be talking about Mercury retrograde and these eclipses. Today, Monday, the 25th, was a lunar eclipse that took place at 3 o'clock this morning. That's when it was at its peak. Next coming up will be Mercury retrograde on the 1st of April, and 7 days later will be the total solar eclipse. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a crazy, crazy month. So, everyone, I thank you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you on this Wednesday. Okay. And to thank my brother Revels-Bey, for being who he is and just a great human being. Have a nice day until then.